Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I am Dr. Figglebottom, and this is my sidekick,
Dr. Adler.
Dr. Adler.
I have a weird name.
And we are Comic Book Mania.
I'm Zach.
I'm Dr. Figglebottom.
And I'm Zach Adler. And we're not in the usual location. I think it's a good change of pace.
No, it's not.
It's a good change of pace. We got posters on the wall. It's more inviting than our old setup.
Oh, I can tell by the enclosed space.
We are very close together. I have a very small room. This is my room.
Oh.
So there we go. So let's start out with
news, as always.
Just this week. But 2 weeks ago it was all explosive and everything. We don't have as much news as last week. Sorry about last week's length of an episode.
That's what you said.
It was a very long episode. That's also what she said. And it was like an hour long. So we won't do that much this week.
Yeah, now we're going to work on that. Sorry.
So first news is the Spider-Man news. Dylan O'Brien and Logan Lerman up for Spider-Man. Spider-Man. And Spider-Man to be back in high school, set in that universe right there. The Rock, or Dwayne Johnson, to all you non-wrestling fans, confirms Black Adam will fight Superman and Batman one day. Confirms connectivity with other movies. So,
well, it keeps it interesting.
Yes. Ryan Reynolds says Deadpool movie isn't expensive, but being made the right way. They didn't get a big budget for it.
Yes.
He also teased the Deadpool mask, which I think looks awesome.
And from what you can see, he decided to use a sepia.
It's like him, and then the mask is like on the
It's in the corner.
It's in the corner.
It's like, hang on. It's where my hand is.
Yeah, it's like right there. You can see it, but you can see it from it.
It's very confusing.
Samuel L. Jackson has 2 Marvel movies left, which
really
sucks. Yeah.
I think isn't he supposed to renew?
Hopefully he renews, but if he doesn't, it's been great. It's been fun. We love you, Samuel L. Jackson. You're great and everything. Robbie Amell wants Bane to appear on Flash, which I think is interesting.
He technically was on Arrow.
That
was Grundy.
It was Grundy.
Oh.
Come on, get your villains right. Come on.
No, I was thinking of he was on Gotham.
In Suicide Squad news, Joel Kinnaman is frontrunner to play Rick Flag. I don't know who that is. I know Rick Flag. I don't know who Joel Kinnaman is.
I don't know either.
Well,
he looks weird.
If you know who he is, let us know down below. He doesn't look... I've seen the picture. He looks
weird.
He doesn't look like a Rick Flag.
He looks weird.
He looks weird.
He looks like a meth addict kid.
Maybe that'll lead into... No, I'm not even going to go with that.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say Jono Carano.
Joe Piscopo.
Gina Carano, the MMA fighter, is going to be playing in the Deadpool movie. So,
yeah.
I forget who she's going to be playing. I think it's like the Winter Witch or something like that. I don't know.
The Winter Witch.
And in very sad news, Space Ghost, the original voice, has passed away.
What was his name?
Gary Owens.
Gary Owens.
We miss you. That show was amazing.
Space goes coast to coast.
Okay. Gotham's Bruno Heller, who is the showrunner, says about Joker, I can promise it's not a bait and switch. It's a long game we are playing out here, which is next week's episode, which we will covering next week. About the Joker subplot. He does not look like the Joker I envisioned.
He's scary.
He's scary, but he's not in the good kind. He's a ginger. Not the good kind of way.
No.
Is there any good kind of way? Wolverine would have been recast if Matthew Vaughn would have directed Days of Future Past. A lot of news came out of that where Matthew Vaughn would have changed a lot of what happened in Days of Future Past. I love the movie. We both did. We both loved the movie.
I thought it was outstanding.
But I don't know if I could have seen another Wolverine. We're probably gonna have to get used to that after.
Well, we're seeing. Isn't there supposed to be one more? You're talking about a different Wolverine. I thought you meant movie-wise.
No, he's got one more movie under the Wolverine banner, and then I think one more X-Men movie. In disappointing Green Lantern news, Arrow showrunner says Diggle is not going to be Green Lantern, but they have other plans for Jon Stewart. That character is going to be.
Oh, they have other plans for Jon Stewart?
Someone else is going to be Jon Stewart, and they're going to have other plans for him. Constantine viewership was up 6% in the season finale, which is awesome. I don't think talk
about the season finale.
I don't think it's going to get a second season on NBC. Maybe on Sci-Fi we'll get it, and we'll get Hellblazer. I said Hellraiser last week. My apologies. Colossus may be in Deadpool. Casting rumors suggest Cable might be in the movie as well. They had a couple different spots open.
Another thing with that is that Daniel Cudmore might not
be Colossus, yes.
Which makes me very upset, because he did an awesome job.
Yeah, he did. He was great in...
And he's very nice.
He's a very nice guy. You met him.
I did.
You did meet him.
He was a scary gentleman. Because
he's very nice. But he's a nice guy, I heard.
He was in Twilight.
Oh, God, let's not
talk
about that. Let's not talk about that. You know, 50 Shades of Grey, this little tangent came out this weekend, and I thought I would never say that Twilight was a better movie than 50 Shades of Grey, but I'm saying it now. Little tangent, whatever. Huntress was cut from Season 3. Most likely will be in Season 4. of Arrow. So
you
didn't like her?
She was boring.
She's a good little villain.
It was a good little plot thing, and then
she came back. She came back two. She was
the first time she was in was like, all right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Arrow doesn't want to kill. He doesn't want her to kill. Cool. And then they brought her back, and I was like, why?
She breaks her father. Doesn't she try to break her father out of jail to kill her father or something like that? Okay. And the Walking Dead spinoff has not been picked up for a series yet. We should get. Yeah, it hasn't been picked up as a series yet, which means I don't think they have a lot of faith in it. Not yet, anyway.
I think it sounds interesting.
I think it's gonna be. Didn't they say they're gonna meet up at one point?
Eventually,
the series and the Walking Dead.
Because where the series is taking place is while Rick is in the coma.
Okay.
So it's before the zombie apocalypse.
So it could lead up to them
while
meeting.
like everything's getting destroyed.
Didn't they say they'd meet up in the first episode or something like that?
No.
I might have been hearing something wrong.
Yeah.
But that's comic book news. That is where most of you leave and go and don't listen to us talk about comic book movies and TV. I mean, just TV show reviews. We're going to have reviews, though, for comic book movies soon enough when, I think...
When they start being released.
May is the first one?
Age of Ultron?
Yeah, Age of Ultron is the first one we're going to be reviewing. And then the summer comes up, and then, yeah, so we're going to go...
We get to see Batman vs. Superman early. We got exclusive tickets with Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Maggie Gyllenhaal's going to be in it? She was in Dark Knight.
Yeah, that's where I got the name.
They're behind the camera. There's a Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises poster that he just looked at and everything.
And I just saw Maggie Gyllenhaal. Was she only in that one?
Yeah.
Why?
She died in the second one.
Play?
She played Rachel.
Wait, then who played Rachel in the first one?
Katie Holmes.
They switched
They
Rachel?
recasted her because she was terrible in Batman Begins.
But I'm in love with Katie Holmes.
You and Tom Cruise is. Alright, so...
You and Tom Cruise is?
Well, not anymore because they broke up. They broke up. They did. We're going to go now to TV news and review. So if you don't want to watch that, thank you for watching. Subscribe.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you guys next week for more comic book news.
Wow, you screwed that up.
What? We do that at the end of the video. Like,
technically, this is part of
you screwed up because you just said subscribe. Like, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.
And for those of you leaving, I love you, and good night.
Good night.
I'm in love with Katie Holmes.
Are you in love with Katie Holmes?
Always.
You said that last time. Let's talk about Gotham.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
No, we're not going to talk about sex.
Sorry.
But Leslie Tompkins does want some sex from Gordon.
In the precinct.
In the precinct, and Gordon's not giving it to her.
No, because Leslie now works in the precinct.
Yeah, she's the new ME.
Which is?
Medical examiner.
Wrong.
What is it?
Monkey epinephrine.
Or monkey entrepreneur.
Doesn't start with an A. Oh, no, it doesn't.
Alright, and in this week's grammar lesson and spelling lesson, entrepreneur means an E, not an A. Alright, so what happened in this episode? It was a continuation of...
It was the conclusion.
Continuation. It was kind of like the electrocution episode. They both had two parts.
But this one had a much better ending.
Much better ending. So they're looking for... They're looking for...
They actually splashed water on him, too.
And
it was
died.
Weird. He melted.
And he becomes a scarecrow. So this episode,
gets the
he's
name.
working on the fear serum. He's still killing people. And he kind of perfects it.
Yeah.
In this episode, he finally gets over his fear.
And he gets over his fear.
We actually find out his wife did not die in a car crash, but an actual fire that he was too afraid of to save her. So that's what leads him to make the fear serum. You find out that in his old school, it was a weird scene. They're talking to the principal or one of the dean. The dean. Okay, and she's like, there's people dying, and they're like, what? How did you know that? And he's like, he wrote it all in this book. Is this theory?
I just didn't believe it. I only made it halfway.
I got bored. It's very boring.
So long. It's like, what, 300 pages?
So throughout all this, Leslie is like attacking Gordon for not being all lovey-dovey in the precinct, and then Harvey has a really funny moment when he's like, I'll leave you two alone, and then he walks away, and Jim looks at him, he's like, oh, and then he runs off. I thought that was funny. What else happened?
And then we get our first altercation with the Penguin and the Riddler.
Oh, it was great. That was all I hoped for. And I loved.
It was actually a lot better than I expected.
I was hoping
I thought it was just going to be like them staring at each other and like, bye.
No, it was, Penguin went up to, Riddler is following Penguin throughout Penguin is looking for Gordon, and then Riddler is like following him, and then they meet up at a desk, And then Penguin's like, "You better step off, bro." And then Riddler's like,
he tells him a riddle.
Yeah, he's like, "Did you just tell me a riddle?"
He goes, "Is that a riddle?" And then Riddler goes, "Well, what's the answer?" He's like waiting, and he goes, and Penguins are talking. He goes, "It's nothing. The answer's nothing."
Oh, it's like, what do poor people have? Rich people want.
Rich people want.
But if you eat too much of it, you die, and it's nothing. And I've heard that riddle before.
It's a good riddle.
And they have a confrontation, and and Maroni and Falcone are talking to this episode. Maroni basically gets one of these old judges that has been putting his guys away. Falcone gives it to him for trade of Penguin, and Penguin basically stays alive.
Mm-hmm. But if Don Falcone dies,
Maroni comes into the Oswald's now, which is leading up.
Fish's old.
It's leading up to where Oswald's taking over, and Falcone even says in this episode, he's like, "Do you really think this idiot is going to run this place one day?" And everybody, whoever's ever read the comics and knows, Oswald becomes the man in this city, and
the fat man.
Maroni goes to Oswald's, and he's like, "You better hope he lives a long life with the old man, or when he dies, I'm going to kill you." And it's like, oh, so how long is this going to last for?
It was very sad to see that nobody showed up to his club.
I know. I wanted Gordon to show up because he invites Gordon to the club, but Gordon does not show up. So we get to the part where they find out where Gerald is hiding out. It's his old house.
Yes.
I don't understand why they didn't look there first. Maybe it's the TV universe
because they didn't.
I was like, he's in the old house. We're the viewers, so it's more apparent to us than the cops. But we did more detective work than they did. So they get to the house as he's giving his son Jonathan the shot.
He did way too much,
and the son is like, having seizures.
He gives himself, and then he was like, "Come on, Jonathan." Jonathan's like, "Hell no!"
I'm getting out of here.
He goes out the back door, and then he's like, "Jonathan, don't run from your needle."
And then Gordon and Bullock are going after them.
And then he finally injects him, and he starts seizing out outside.
And he sees the Scarecrow transform, and there's a scene at the end where freaked me out. But yeah, they have a gunshot.
We were talking about this at work.
They have a gunfight.
And Gerald, Gordon and Harvey are shooting at him. Gerald pulls out his gun. And he's like, "I'm not afraid of you." Just starts walking and shooting.
And he's walking. They're shooting at him, but he's just going after it. And I'm like, badass way to take out Gerald Crane.
Yeah.
But then they go to the hospital. Jonathan's in the hospital. He's basically like freaking out because he's got
every waking moment.
The doctor says to him, to Gordon, he's like, he's gonna see his worst fear every moment he's awake. And then you see him in the Jonathan in the bed.
He's laying in the bed, and then you see some Scarecrow monster crawl up.
The worst CGI evil-looking thing I've ever seen.
It's horrifying.
In a good way, evil motherfucker.
Then he closes his eyes, looks the other way, and turns his head, and then it's right next to him, and he starts screaming, and then they ended it.
Isn't that where they yeah, I think that's where they ended the episode.
And then there was Fish is now running wherever she's at.
Oh, we forgot about
not a huge thing.
Fish is in a prison
cell,
and there's the owner of the prison cell, or the leader of the rebels in there is Mace.
Mace.
And then she gets a new crony in Kenny or Kenneth, Kevin was his name is.
Something like that.
She goes up to Mace and he gives him the roundabout, and then she stabs him through the throat, and she becomes the big person. And at the end of the episode, you see a girl being put back to the jail cell, and her eyes are gone. They took her eyes. I don't know where that's leading. I'm interested.
I'm confused.
But I'm not as interested as what's going on with Gordon. Well, I haven't said that in a while. Gordon's things are going good. He's going to the circus next week with Leslie.
And we know who's going to be there.
And apparently the Joker. That's why I say it. The Graysons. Yeah, we also forgot one more thing. The whole Bruce plotline, which was
liked it.
Which it was good, but
it was a sweet sentimental moment.
Alfred had me laughing at the end of this. Bruce goes off on his own.
How long have you been there?
Bruce goes off on his own to where his dad used to take him to pick up rocks.
They would do a hike.
Yeah.
And they would spend the night and watch the sunrise.
Alfred's basically like, "You should let me come with you because you're going to get hurt." Bruce is like, "I'm not going to get hurt.
I'm a big kid now."
He falls down a hill. And it looked like he broke his ankle, but he's like, "I just sprained it." And then he builds himself a splint, and he's climbing up, and Alfred's just sitting there like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's got a fire going. And Bruce's like, "How long have you been there?" He's like, "The last hour watching you climb up this hill."
He's like, "Since you fell."
And then they watch the sunset come up, and it's a little sweet moment. Yeah. And that was Gotham. Good episode.
Very good episode. I enjoyed it.
We're going to go on to the second best episode of the week.
What was the first?
Arrow. Arrow, in my opinion, was the best episode this week.
Okay. Onward to the next one.
Onward to Flash. In a Flash.
Whee! Here I go. Whee!
Let's talk about the Flash.
The Flash.
Not the Flash. The Flash, the guy that runs. Flash is learning how to...
That was a bad joke.
Shut up. Flash is learning how to deal with having a relationship. Emotions, basically. And what made me laugh is they're going to have sexual relations.
And do the jiggles.
And he just starts shaking really fast, and she's like, "Wait, why'd you stop? That was amazing." And I'm like, "Ooh, vibrator joke."
I think it would have been better if he started vibrating real fast and fell through the couch.
And Joe has a really funny moment. It's just a small moment. That's what I love about the show. When Barry's getting dressed, and he's like, "If you speed through this house one more time, I'm going to shoot you." I just lost it. So Iris got really jealous in this episode, which yes. I was like, "Holy crap!" She's not married, but she's probably going to get married to
eventually
Eddie. While she's going on a date with Linda Park is her name. She works at the newspaper with Iris. Mm-hmm. There's this guy that's about to commit suicide on top of the building, and Eddie's on the floor yelling at him, "You've got so much to live for," like every cop says. And then Barry runs up there,
the wall, grabs him, and he goes, "You're not going to let me climb back up, are you?"
And Eddie's like, "Nope, you're coming with me." So it's basically affecting his relationship with Linda. And then we get our big Firestorm episode, which I was really excited about.
Yes. And we find out why Robbie didn't told
Caitlin not to look for him.
Well, not just that he wasn't Ronnie.
Okay, because it's actually Martin Stein.
Because it's Martin Stein's mind with Ronnie's body. And Harrison makes the good argument that, well, not argument, but whatever, that it takes the best of each qualities.
It's Robbie's body and Martin Stein's mind. Yes. We get a flashback of when Martin Stein...
Why are we saying Robbie? His name is Robbie Amell.
Yeah, Ronnie.
It's Ronnie Raymond.
We get a good scene with, before the particle accelerator happens, Martin Stein actually met Barry, and they have this whole thing going on.
He even says it later on. He's like, "So how's the thing with your soon-to-be girlfriend?"
Soon-to-be girlfriend. So we also find out that Joe is still investigating Harrison Wells, but we find out Harrison Wells wasn't there that night. It wasn't him.
So
it was
who was the
two speedsters. We find out that it was Barry there. So we kind of figured that. I said Flashpoint was going to happen. I think it's still going to happen.
Yeah.
The Flashpoint, if you haven't read it. Here's our comic book recommendation of the week.
I think we already recommended that one.
No, we didn't. We recommended The Killing Joke and Hellblazer, which I actually read, and it was fantastic. Also, last week's Constantine episode.
Did you read it?
I did. It was amazing. I don't remember much of it. I did read it. I promise you I did.
Did you?
Shut up. It's a joke from last week. Go back to last week's episode. Flashpoint is fantastic. We both cried in this comic book.
Oh, man.
When he talks to his mother, I cried and you cried.
That's not the part that got me.
What part got you? The Thomas Wayne part?
Yeah, the end.
Well, they have to change that up in the show if they're going to do that.
And I already know the perfect way they do it.
Yeah, with Arrow's father. So yeah, they find out that Barry was actually there. Joe and Cisco basically...
Because they find blood on the wall and they test the blood and...
Joe has a little thing with the woman that lives in Barry's old house.
They don't have a thing.
She was oozing sex. And then Cisco says to him, he's like, "I won't judge you." And they basically... There's a mirror that the woman bought, and it has the silver nitrate that comes out of photos. When they were running, the two speedsters, left off silver nitrate. Was it?
No, it was on the back of the mirror. It was an old-fashioned mirror. It has nitrate on it, and because it was a lightning storm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's flat. Okay. So it showed basically a projector of what happened.
And Cisco was like, "I'm about to blow your mind." It's like 3D models.
And then they see Joe is looking at the picture, and Cisco's like, "Nothing else is here." And Joe sees that there's blood on another wall. They test it. It actually turns out to be Barry's blood from the future into the past, which is a weird concept, but yeah, Flash wanted to explain it better. Firestorm comes back. You basically find out Martin Stein is the one controlling him, and he's been stalking his ex-wife, I would say, or his current employee. Watching,
That's it.
Stalking. his wife, and you find out that Ronnie's been kind of stalking Caitlin too. So whenever she's in trouble, he helps her. And whenever the other woman's in trouble,
they find out that he's gonna blow, and they try to stop it. And then I like the sweet moment at the end when he goes,
when he kisses Caitlin.
Yeah, and he goes, "That's from Ronnie."
Yeah,
I was like,
they actually they find Ronnie and they bring him back to the Flash Cave. That's what I'm calling it. Star Labs. They call it the Flash Caves. And he gets all niced up into Ronnie territory. And Caitlin looks at him and he's like, "Don't call me Ron. Don't call me Caitlin, please. Call me Miss Snow." And because she thinks it's weird.
Snow. And
she's going through a lot through this episode. They finally they blow him up basically.
No, he blew himself up.
They got from the what was the thing he had? It's Harrison. The tecton particle or something. Tachyon. So he puts that with
it shows that Harrison Wells isn't such a bad guy.
Well, he did it for his own reasons because he says to Gideon, he's like, Gideon's like, it'll stop your progress from joining back, I guess, to the Speed Force, and he's like, if this city blows up, there will be no Speed Force to deal with.
I'm sure Flash could escape.
Flash could, but nobody else can.
That's their fault.
And he's losing his ability, so he wouldn't have been able to run. He didn't want to give up his whole identity. And then you find out at the end of the episode, General Eiling knows about Firestorm, and he's going to go take him, and we lead to the next episode.
Where we see more Firestorm.
And Flash, Barry finds out that it was him from the future.
Does he find out?
Yeah, Cisco tells him, and Joe tells him that it's him fighting whoever the Reverse Flash is. And any theories on who you think that is? I still think it's Eddie Thawne's grandchild or grandson. Ichabod Thawne, I think his name is.
Ichabod.
Yeah, and he comes back in it might still be Harrison Wells. They just didn't have his.
I think it's someone
we don't know yet. I think it might be Booster Gold too. They could introduce him too, which would be
as
really
a Flash.
Good.
Booster Gold's his own.
That was a theory in there too. That
Booster Gold is his own person.
So
that's why I don't agree with that
you think it's just somebody
else? I think
else?
it's someone we haven't met yet. Someone that's going to be like, what?
It could be like a really it could be his father.
And you know what? The way I think they're going to solve it is that they're going to solve it next season.
Okay.
After we.
So what do you think's leading this season's leading up to?
We run in the Grodd.
Oh, okay.
They capture Grodd or whatever. Not this season, but like next season.
Okay.
And then Grodd goes.
So he knows. He knows what happened.
He knows that it's Grodd.
Okay.
He knows everything.
Is Harrison Wells the one that fought Barry that night though, when Firestorm appeared?
No. But Grodd knows who it is.
You don't think that's Harrison?
Wait, when?
When he not the night of Barry's mother's death, the night where he
mid-season finale.
Yeah, he actually fought Reverse Flash.
I don't think so.
Because Harrison was there and he got the shit kicked out of him. I don't know if it was himself. I think it is a different Flash.
I think it's someone
but
we haven't met yet.
He's portraying the Reverse Flash too.
Exactly.
So, or it could be the whole Flashpoint thing where when Barry has his ring in the series, you remember when the suit comes out of it, it's actually the Reverse Flash suit. Mm-hmm. I think it might be two Barrys. Remember there's 3 timelines in Flashpoint? They could be 3 Barrys.
There was a lot more timelines than 3.
What if they showed 3? That Barry has to actually kill his stop his mother from so I don't know. It could be interesting. That's Flash. Great episode. And then next week should be interesting. I think there's only 7 episodes left in each of the series.
I think so, except Constantine.
We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. So let's go on to Gotham.
Arrow.
We're going to talk about Arrow now.
So what happened on Gotham? Well, Oliver Queen.
We find out Oliver finally tells Thea everything. It's a weight off of his shoulders, weight off the fan's shoulders.
It's a weight on her shoulders.
A weight on seriously, this episode, she goes to old Thea.
Killed Chase?
Yes. Okay. No, Chase kills himself.
Oh, he took cyanide.
Yes, so Thea finally finds out. Laurel is basically dealing with the guilt of holding it in for her father and the fact that she's taking up the mantle of the Black Canary over Sarah. And the guy, Count Vertigo, comes back. The second Count Vertigo, not the first one that died. Do you remember the first one?
He didn't die.
Ollie shot him through the window.
I thought he was in a mental hospital.
No, he got shot through the heart outside a window.
I think he's fine.
That's when Felicity was being caught, and Ollie had to decide.
I think he's fine.
He's not fine.
I think he might be fine.
We're gonna see him on the Suicide Squad. Count Vertigo. Suicide Squad 2016.
Hashtag.
So Count Vertigo comes back. Laurel basically, because how he escapes is he's being transported, and one of the reporters sticks the marshal into the marshal with vertigo, and he starts shooting people.
That was awesome.
I'm like, holy shit! And they see Laurel come out of nowhere, punches the dude, and it's great. That was a great Laurel moment.
Very interesting.
They have Felicity has a really funny moment in this episode. She's not doing much, and we didn't see a lot of Roy. We didn't actually see any of Ray Palmer. They're in the Arrow Cave, and they're talking, and then Felicity's like, "Oh, it's your new best friend," or I like to call him the devil. And you see Malcolm come in, and Malcolm basically tells him, "You have to tell Theo because we need to escape and leave Roz out. We have to get out of here.
Well, we have to train.
We have to train, and Thea needs to know." So Ollie goes to tell her. Thea basically. I didn't think this was going to happen. Ollie takes her down to the basement, and she basically tells her...
She's like, I thought it was flooded. Yeah, it's been flooded for 3 years, dummy.
Oliver tells her, and she hugs him, and it surprised me, because I thought she was going to freak out on him. I think everybody thought...
Why you lying to me, yo?
And she's like, thank you, you saved so many people, and he starts crying, and I'm like, oh...
And then you started crying.
I didn't actually start crying on this episode. That happened later in the week. Then... we find out she basically is not trusting Malcolm anymore.
Yeah. And
she goes after... Roy actually sticks up for her, because Thea comes down after Laura gets the shit kicked out of her from vertigo.
She deserved it.
Then Sarah kind of comes back. I missed her. I miss Sarah.
Dies.
Don't say that. We need Black Canary.
Bring Sarah back.
I would love that. Seriously.
Laurel's annoying.
Cancel Laurel. Just hashtag cancel Laurel. Let's get that trending, guys. So yeah, she gets her ass kicked. And Thea comes down, and they're all trying to help sedate Laurel, and Ollie basically just yells at her. He's like, go the fuck upstairs! And Roy's like, hey, you're not gonna yell at my ex-girlfriend!
Like, stop being mean, mister!
And Ollie's like, why are you standing up to me? He's like, you died for 4 weeks, well, four episodes of Arrow. He died, and...
You were dead!
And Diggle's like, Felicity's
and he's like, that don't mean nothing. Felicity's just like, yeah, it
means a
Diggle's
lot.
like, I think it does.
Thea leaves, she goes upstairs, and she runs into Chase. And she's like, I want something simple, and she takes her, and they go have sex.
And he's like, okay, I'm going.
And then they have sex, and then she's pouring her a drink, and then she smells it, and...
Well, she goes to drink it, and she says, my father told me that a wise man will always try to hide something with red wine.
And like something like cyanide!
It's like the scent of hot cyanide. And then she, stabs his hand, and he's like, what?
And then they fight, and then he's got the knife to her, and then Roy busts through the door.
What if he slipped and just...
I know. It's like, you're gonna kill Thea. And then Roy's like, get away from her. And then Malcolm...
he gets his butt
kicked. He gets killed. He gets his ass kicked.
And then Malcolm...
He's a trained assassin,
yeah.
so I would
And then Malcolm launches an arrow into his chest, and he's like... Blah, 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 blah,
he's like, you will not get the satisfaction of killing me. And he drinks the cyanide that he has, kills himself. And,
I really wish they did it like what you do with a dog when they won't open their mouth. You grab them by the jaw and then you put your fingers down their throat and make them throw up.
You are gonna stay alive.
I will kill you myself.
And we get Ollie and Maceo flashbacks. Oliver basically rats out Maceo, but Maceo knew what he was gonna do,
and it was like, what?
And now Waller, I don't know what's going on with Waller.
We're getting the Suicide Squad soon.
Yeah, but pre-Suicide Squad. What's going on in Hong Kong right now? Oh, they end up back in Starling City. At the end of the episode, you're like, oh, what are they doing?
She was like, glad to have you awake. I thought you would miss death. And he was
like, Maceo and him were tied up.
And then it says Starling City 2010.
And then they catch Count Vertigo in the future. Yes. Laurel beats the absolute shit out of him, and
Oliver's just like, alright.
Oliver tells Malcolm we all have to go train, and Thea's like, I can't trust him. I'm not going to be able to trust him. And they go down. Oliver's like, I trust all of you. You guys are in good hands. You guys can handle the city while I'm away. He looks at Laurel, especially you, and you can handle this. And then they leave, and you find out the big twist of the ending where they end up back on the island. And that's so
I just have one question. Is Wildcat dead?
I think he is. I think they killed him off. We haven't seen him since the big battle.
And even after that, you had his lungs collapsing.
Yeah, Laurel's consoling him. She's like, you're not gonna die. You're not gonna die. And then he's dead.
And then we haven't heard from him.
So very good episode. I think it's my favorite episode.
Well, I know the guy that plays him is out recording other
shows. He's doing his own show right now?
Not his own show.
He'll be back. He'll be back eventually.
Hopefully.
Yes. So that is Arrow. We're gonna go on to... let's talk about
Gotham.
Walking Dead. Constantine. Gothenstein, Walking Dead.
Rove. Ash. That sounds like a good show.
So what happened on Constantine?
It ended.
If it is the end, before we start, yes. I want to say it was a great 13 episodes. Started out a little bit slow, but it
much
turned
better
out...
than the movie.
Oh, wasn't I talking about the Keanu Reeves movie? It was a great show, and we thank you to all the actors. We didn't get to see Chaz in this.
Especially Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan was great as Constantine. I miss Chaz. He was dreamy. I think Chaz got his...
Papa Midnight.
Manny.
Gary.
Who's Gary? Oh, Gary the dead guy that comes back alive in this episode. No, but I think Chaz got his finale earlier this season. With his
2
daughter
episodes
and everything.
ago.
Yeah. So this episode, they're still looking for. What are they looking for?
Nothing.
They weren't looking for anything in this episode. So it was just a normal episode, a normal day in the life of.
Well, no, they were.
Pop Midnight sends a spirit to kill.
Well,
there's a bounty on
Constantine.
There's a bounty on Constantine's head. They're looking for. Who are they looking for in this episode?
The little girl.
Oh, this is okay. There's a Satan worshiper that's basically killing girls for tribute to Satan.
That was hilarious at the wedding ceremony. And he's
kneel down, girl.
Now I gotta kneel down now. And she's like, I don't think I want to do this. And you see like the upside down horse skull, and I'm just like, this seems interesting.
He's next to a carnival, which is how they got the victims. So you find out the 3 girls that he has.
I just love that he had such a New Orleans accent. He was like, now you're going to sit over there now.
Corrigan comes back in this episode. He's basically having
Constantine. See a lot of Spectre.
Yes. Zed is dealing with the fact that she doesn't know if she should tell... I was about to call him Spectre, but Corrigan, if she's gonna die, if he's gonna die or not. You also find out that Manny is speaking to her. He has this really beautiful scene with her last week and this week.
You finally watched it?
Yes, it
was. Was it sad?
Perfect, beautiful episode. I think the scene when she finds out she does have cancer, like, broke my heart and everything. But it led to her finding out that it's more of a gift than it is a curse. And they have a scene in this episode, in her and Manny, I think is my favorite scene probably in the last couple episodes. And she's like, I didn't call you. She's like, you needed me, and I came to you. And
do you like pickles?
He basically tells her
pickles. That's what I came here for.
The girl they're looking for is looking for something.
One scene I remember is that one.
So Manny basically tells her, he's like, I envy you. We don't have a choice. We have to let things happen, but you do. You can tell Jim if he wants to know, if he wants to die.
That's what I like about you. You have free will.
Yeah, and they go after this guy. They kill him.
Can we just talk about how Constantine found the little girl?
How did he find the little girl?
He took her toothbrush and the hair in his mouth, the toothbrush.
He's like,
started saying a chant, and then broke the lamp.
And he electrocuted himself, basicly. And
then at the end, he was like, I was like,
oh nope, stop it.
But he was so gross because he takes her toothbrush. He goes, and then, by the way, he never told her about that.
No. This girl needs a new toothbrush and a new brush. Oh my god, the hair part. Oh god. So they find her. Corrigan has the best scene in this scene, this ending. He's about to arrest a guy, and Constantine's like, this basically motherfucker is gonna get free one day. And it's going to be on you, basically. So he unlocks the handcuffs, and he's like, run. And then
the guy's like, what? And he goes, run!
And then you see Zed and the girl going away.
Come on, we're going home.
And he opens the shot, and you're like, oh, shit, they actually did that.
And then she turns around, and she's like, no, we're leaving.
Nothing happened.
No one's dead. Gunshot?
Then we go to the bar. And
what was with the creepy guy at the carnival? Who is...
He was just a rapist.
No, because, like, he looked, the little girl's like, hi, and he's like, you gonna die.
The rapist actually made me think of SNL because it was almost making it, and it was Jeopardy, and Sean Connery's like,
we're not talking about that.
I'll take the rapist for 200.
No, that was the old episode.
I know, they were showing it again, and he's like, it's therapist, you idiot. That just made me laugh. So they go to a bar, they're celebrating their victory.
Corrigan kisses Zed, and Constantine's like, whatever.
After Zed tells him that he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And then Constantine's like smoking, and he's like, oh fuck, he's got my girl.
He goes outside, he goes to take a piddle,
and he sees Manny.
And Manny comes up, and they talk. They have a nice little sweet moment, and then Constantine leaves, and then Papa Midnight's getting arrested.
Because earlier in this episode, he sent a zombie, basically, his demon zombie, to go kill Constantine.
Then he sent a crow.
And the brouhaha is basically... I call it the brouhaha.
The brujeria.
The brouhaha is basically sending people to kill Constantine. I'm calling it the brouhaha because the season's over anyway.
And then they send the brouhaha.
The brouhaha.
Rabble.
The brouhaha, whatever the fuck they're called.
The brouhaha.
Is basically sending monsters and monsters to go after him. Papa Midnight takes up the bounty. Almost kills him. Constantine's like, fuck you. He puts a cloaking spell on one of the guys, and he basically gets him captured. Papa Midnight's in a cab, a police car. He's in a cab in handcuffs. Just a normal night in New Orleans. And everything freezes. Papa Midnight gets out of the car.
Who is that?
And
who's watching me?
All you see is...
The door opens and he steps out and he goes, show yourself. And then you hear the voice. No, you hear the voice.
Oh, God.
And then you see him and he's got his wings and he's like, leave John Constantine alone. Now or else.
The contract is up with you. You're done. And you're like, wait, no.
So
Manny, God damn it, no.
So is Manny good? Is Manny bad?
No,
is he working for the Brujeria? Is he God? Is he Satan?
He basically says it. He's like, I'm the leader of the Brouhaha.
I can't take it serious.
I'm the leader of the... And you're like...
I'm the captain.
So what somebody was writing about this, and he's like, basically said that Manny could be Satan. And this is the whole shit that's happening with the Brouhaha and the demons and everything, that Manny is basically the fallen angel. That's why when you said earlier in the season that he was the angel of death, because he was around people that were dying, and it kind of goes with that. So it's not confirmed if he's Satan
So
or
I
not.
predicted it.
You predicted he was the angel of death. You were close.
The angel of death is Satan.
No, the angel of death is death.
They don't know that.
They don't know that. We don't know that.
He doesn't know that.
Yep, Scarface doesn't know that. But Constantine is over. Hopefully not for the time being. Hopefully. It is over for the time being. No, hopefully not forever. We get a new show. We get a new season. Hopefully Sci-Fi picks it up. If NBC does end up picking it up, I think it'll only last one more season. They're going to give it one more season.
Yeah.
That's it. But thank you, Constantine. We will see you hopefully next time.
Thank you, Matt Ryan.
And Chaz and Zed, whoever you guys.
No, Matt Ryan.
And who, the football star?
Papa Midnight.
Papa Midnight.
Now get over here, little girl. Kneel down.
And we got Felix Faust once. So.
Kneel down.
That
guy,
guy, whoever this guy. Oh, he's just called the Man.
Yeah, he was the waiting man.
The waiting man. So,
sit down,
so it was a good season finale.
Come on, we're going to come out.
And we're going to go to Walking Dead.
We're going to put the rope around there now.
Okay.
We're going to go mad now.
We're going to go
mad. Whatever.
Let's talk about...
Did you forget what show?
No, I was going to say Sex Baby, but whatever.
Oh.
Let's talk about Walking Dead. I kind of stepped down from last week's
episode. More like The Walking Dread, am I right?
That's what everybody was saying about this episode.
Really? I loved it.
A lot of people were saying it was very boring. I can understand that. I thought it was a lot of character development. It was a lot of group development. I read a comment earlier today. It was like, oh, we need more zombie killings. And I was like, I read the comments, and people were arguing with him, and I agreed with what the people were saying. They were like, if you have just zombie killings without knowing what the characters are going through, you basically just have zombie killing. You don't have anything interesting going on.
There's no feelings.
I mean, zombie killing was good in season 1 when you didn't know everybody and it was new and interesting.
It's good now, too, even when you do know everyone.
But you care more by who's doing it. So that's our point.
Because, like, there's a scene where they're on the bridge and they have a horde of zombies.
Yeah. And
they're basically trying to trick these... It was hilarious when Rick does it because he's like, nope. They fall into a pit below them.
It's also a parallel...
But then you're sitting there and you're like, oh my god, don't bite him. No,
because you care.
You can bite her. No, don't bite him.
We had 3 very depressed Debras in this episode.
I like how they started the episode out with them 3.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they ended the episode with them 3. Basically, 2 out of the 3.
What was with the frogs? Was that just a sign of a drought?
Yeah, this whole episode was a sign of a drought, kind of, for the characters, and literally a drought. The 3 characters, Sasha, Maggie, and Daryl. Daryl basically just eats fucking worm in this episode, and it's awesome.
I want to ask Norman if that was a real worm.
I think it was. It'd make him so much cooler if it did. Even though he's the coolest character on the show.
I don't know, Rick's getting up there.
Rick is turning into what he is in the comic books. Thankfully, oh my god, I couldn't stand Rick from season 1 and 2, because...
What are we gonna do?
Lori, stop calling me on the phone! Was that season 3? I'm sorry. It was season 3, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Laura, stop calling me on the phone. Coral, your mom's not on the phone.
Carl can't come to the phone now. He's doing his homework.
They didn't do that much in the comic book because they did
They did
it more in the show than they did in the comic.
No, because the comic was much better well done.
Yeah, of course.
Because he carried around.
And you thought there was another person on the end.
Yeah.
You didn't know it was like freaking Spirit Lori.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay.
Well, no, you didn't know it was another person when he had it unplugged. Hello.
Anybody there? Coral. So this episode, they're all dealing with the effects, the sadness, and the effects of everybody dying of the last 2 episodes. I don't want that. Stop that. Maggie is basically questioning if she can go on.
Sasha's questioning if she can go on.
No, Sasha was being a bitch. I understand why. I get it. But to tell Noah just to go kill himself at that point.
No, alright, so basically what happened before that is there's a pack of wild dogs, and then Sasha just...
And she just kills them. I'm like, they didn't even kill... They wanted to pet them. That was it.
They're just puppies.
Somebody was making a point about this, that Glenn was the only one not shown eating the dog.
Noah wasn't eating them.
You could see him at the end eating it.
No, Noah was...
You could see it.
No, Noah was on guard.
No, you can see he's got a piece of meat in his hand.
No,
he's
he
about to
doesn't.
eat it. Watch the episode again.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't, it's deleted.
But you see Glenn not even eating it. And I was like, they should just went with whatever.
And then you see a huge moment with Father Gabriel.
Oh, yeah.
When he takes off the little white thing
he's
that priests
basically
wear,
cursing God
he's
at that
renouncing
point.
his priesthood. And then they finally get the rain, and he cries, and he goes...
They see the water first. Just the random
from
water.
A friend.
Yeah,
and
from
Eugene's
a friend.
like, I'm transing it.
and Abraham goes over and he's like, bitch, please. Don't drink that water.
Don't make me beat the crap out of you again. I'll get my fire truck.
At this point, I'm like, this was in the comics. That part was in the comics. Mm-hmm. Are they going to lead up to this? And at the end of the episode, you find out, yes, they are.
So then it starts to rain, and Father Gabriel, and I love this moment, because he looks up and he goes, thank you, Lord, I'm so sorry, and he's crying.
And everybody's like, let's all lay in the ground.
They're like, yay, it's raining, and then you hear thunder.
And they're like,
oh,
Daryl's like, there's a barn, we gotta go in the barn.
He's like, I know where.
And what I loved about because the 3 characters that have been dealing with a lot this episode,
they were the first ones on guard.
You hear the zombies trying to get into the barn.
You hear the doors from the wind. So Daryl's like, alright, I'll go fix the chain.
And
then outside is a horde.
Daryl's the first one to go, and then you see Maggie go up, and then Sasha, and they're all like...
everyone else gets up.
And it's a bit... Oh, God.
Except one person.
Judith.
Yeah. She's got full weight.
She's crying all the ground.
She's like, well,
but this kind of reminded me of last week's episode, how it was shot. Like, they showed scenes of each of... still spots of each of them. I thought it was great. They get out into the morning.
Did you notice the symbolism with the music box?
No, we're not talking about that yet. Not yet.
Well, we're almost there.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We'll talk about that when we get there.
I'll get to my
They get outside, and it's like, you see the zombies and the spikes and shit.
It's basically the storm saved them.
Yeah.
Because their barn is intact, and Father Gabriel would say, God help them.
Yeah.
Because the trees fell, they ripped these zombies apart, and they scattered them. And there was even, if you noticed, there was a path for them to leave.
So, Daryl fixes the music box and gives it to Maggie.
And then Maggie wakes up Sasha, and
go outside.
They go watch the sunrise. And as they're sitting there, you see some very well-groomed man
Mr.
come over.
Calvin Klein himself coming out of nowhere.
Hi, excuse me.
And
then they're like, they didn't shoot him.
No, they have guns on him, and the music box goes on.
Well, that's before. This is where the symbolism comes in.
Okay.
They have the music box, and they turn it.
And it's not working.
It goes ding, ding.
Yeah, and
they start laughing.
Maggie's like, what the fuck?
And then this guy comes, and he goes, I bring good news. And as soon as he says that, the music box starts working.
And you find out...
And it's a sign of hope.
Yes, and you find out who his name is for everybody. It's supposed to be one of the other characters that we're not going to spoil, because he's a big character.
His name's Bill.
His name is Bill Nye. Well, Robert Kirkman, the little asshole that he is, he was on at midnight the other night, and
if you get a chance, watch
this clip. He basically talks about a really big spoiler.
It was very funny.
Yeah, and he basically said, it's a comedy! The scene was fake Walking Dead spoilers, and he basically announces a scene that's actually going to happen.
Maybe.
Hopefully. To the Walking Dead gods, please let it happen. And then we find out this guy's name is Aaron, who is a big part of
a community named the Hilltop.
And then it leads to Alexandria.
And that's all we're going to say.
And a big...
Because We know. I know more than him.
Well, we know about the same, about what's going to happen.
I know more than you.
Well, I didn't know. I read the same comics you read. The ones after.
You've missed a few.
This is all after all what's about to happen. You're an idiot. Get away from me. That was Comic Book Mania, and I do have dandruff. Leave me alone.
You Head and Shoulders.
Okay. That was Comic Book Mania. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sponsor. If you want to sponsor me, Head and Shoulders, I use you guys a lot.
Do you?
You can sponsor me. Yes, I do. It doesn't work. I should probably try a new one. But thank you guys so much for watching Comic Book Mania.
Yes, we will be back next week.
Every Wednesday we're back.
Without Constantine.
Jurassic Park. I still have yet to watch that. But we will reveal that movie when it comes out this year. So.
Oh, it comes out?
Yeah.
This year?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You're excited.
I am.
We're going to see that opening night.
Fuck you.
Age of Ultron and Pitch Perfect 2. We're going to see that. I'm Zach.
I'm Dante. This has been Comic Book Mania. Thank you guys so much.
Like,
comment,
and subscribe.
And as always, I love you.
See you next week.
See you in the next one. Bye.